Today, we're going to dive into a really powerful way of understanding why our past can feel like it's still running the show in our present. And even better, we're going to look at a clear path you can take to start healing.
Have you ever wondered about this? Why certain anxieties or patterns or just feelings of sadness seem to stick with you no matter how old you get? It's a question so many of us ask, and it's right where we're going to start our journey today.
So let's begin by looking at what we can call childhood's lasting echo. Because honestly, to get a real handle on where we are now, we almost always have to look back at the world that shaped us when we were kids. And the answer to that big question, it's usually not about one single dramatic event. It's often about something much more fundamental, these basic human needs that maybe just weren't met consistently when we were young.
Now, these ideas we're exploring, they come from the incredible work of Dr. Lane Lassiter. He's a retired clinical psychologist who has spent decades helping people and himself heal from family trauma, and he's sharing what he's learned.
All right, let's get to the absolute core of this framework. I want you to think of these 10 basic human needs almost like a new vocabulary, a way to finally put a name to the feelings you've been carrying around for so long.
And here they are, all 10 of them. Dr. Lassiter pinpointed these as being absolutely essential for our well-being. I mean, some of them are pretty familiar, right? Physical health, safety, love. But this list also includes some you might not have thought about as a need, like autonomy, legitimacy, and a solid sense of identity. Let's look at those.
So let's zoom in on one we might not have a word for: legitimacy. This is that deep, gut-level need to be treated fairly, to have your rights respected, and to just feel like you matter in a just and fair way.
And then we've got identity. And we're not just talking about knowing your name. This is the really crucial need to build a stable sense of who you are, to actually understand your strengths, your limits, and what you truly believe in.
Okay, so what happens when these vital needs aren't met? Well, there's a real cost, and it's a cost that's not just emotional. As we're about to see, it can become physical too.
When our needs are consistently frustrated, the first thing that happens is this wave of painful emotions. We're talking about that nagging fear, that simmering anger or sadness, a deep sense of grief for something lost or even guilt. These feelings are basically alarm bells telling you a core need isn't being met.
And this slide really shows you how it can spiral. See, it starts with the frustrated needs. That creates the negative emotions. If that pain isn't addressed, some people might turn to addictions to try and numb it all out. And over the long haul, all that chronic stress can actually lead to real physical health problems.
Okay, so we've talked about the what. Now let's switch gears and look at a really practical tool you can use for your own self-discovery to kind of check in with both your past and your present.
This is a questionnaire from Dr. Lassiter. And the idea is pretty simple but powerful. You rate these statements based on how true they were for you at two different times in your life, when you were about 10 years old, and how things are for you right now. It's designed to give you this amazing before and after snapshot.
So once you're done, you'll get a total score, somewhere between 0 and 150. Now, this number isn't a grade. It's definitely not about judging you. Think of it more like a guide, a way to help you understand the level of need satisfaction or frustration you've been living with.
So, let's break down what those scores might mean. If you get a score below 60 for either your childhood or your life now, that's a sign that you've likely experienced a severe level of need frustration.
And if your score falls in that 60 to 90 range, that points toward moderate need frustration. And this is a really significant category that, as you're about to see, a whole lot of people fall into.
And this is so important to hear. If your score for when you were 10 years old is below 90, it's a very strong indicator that you grew up in a world that just had limited resources to meet your needs. Just seeing that and accepting it can be a huge first step toward recovery.
And look, if you find yourself in that moderate range, I really want you to see this chart. You are so far from alone. Turns out about 64% of families fall right into this middle zone, with both moderate strengths and moderate problems. It just goes to show that imperfection and struggle are a normal part of being human.
All right, so all of this brings us to the most important part of the whole conversation, the path forward. How do we take all this understanding and actually use it to heal?
And here it is. This is the absolute key. It's not about changing the past. We can't do that. It's about taking those needs that weren't met back then and making them a conscious, deliberate priority in your adult life right now, today.
I just love how Dr. Lassiter puts it with this quote. It's really about reparenting yourself. It's about consciously and intentionally giving that child inside you the safety, the affection, the legitimacy, whatever it was they needed, but didn't get.
So, as we finish up, I want to leave you with this question to carry with you. Just think about it. Looking at that list, thinking about your own story, what is one need, just one, that your younger self truly deserved, that you have the power to give to yourself starting today?